Love is an attitude in the mind, and knowledge is an attitude in the intellect. Love, feeling, emotion is an attitude in the mind, and the knowledge is an attitude in the intellect. And what is attitude? It is a settled way of thinking and feeling. So, attitude in the mind and attitude in the intellect. It is a settled way. But how come that settled way has come? I told you before also the knowledge means cause and effect relationship. That is how the Eastern wisdom works. So, if we say knowledge, attitude, love is an attitude in the mind, and the knowledge is an attitude in the intellect. And attitude is a settled way of thinking and feeling. And that attitude is expressed in behavior. We try to hide. You try to hide anything, you cannot hide it. Because that attitude has its roots in our past impressions, our culture, our society. We have been conditioned heavily by the culture, society, the way we behave and work in the family, at personal level, at professional level, at social level. We need to uninstall this software. We have to install a new software that can change the attitude, and ultimately, attitude can change the behavior. Love is an attitude in the mind, and the knowledge is an attitude in the intellect. An attitude is a settled way of thinking. Settled way means, it has been conditioned culturally, socially. So, what Eastern wisdom tries to do it is that it says, no, go a little deeper. Go a little deeper, and there we come to the three gunas: Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. You see the sequence. So even when we are born, we did not know any language, we did not think, but those gunas are active. Even unconsciously, without any thought, we responded to the outer environment, and ultimately that has taken a shape of the thought. Thought and the feeling, ultimately an attitude, emotional attitude in the mind, and attitude of the information and the knowledge in the intellect. And what about these three gunas? Three gunas works at a ego level. These three gunas prompts me to say, I'm upset, I'm happy. I believe you are getting it. I'm happy, I'm stressed, I'm into anxiety. You wake up in the morning. First, there is a state of the calmness, it is satoguna. You have a pain, you endure the pain, it is satoguna. Think. You have no thought the moment you wake up in the morning, but your mood is upset. It has to do with Rajoguna. Okay, I will attend the session or not. It has to do with the Tamoguna. I don't have a love for knowledge. You see how we examine, how we observe our own self. Wake up in the morning, mind says, no, let me sleep for an hour. That attitude, first the guna, changes the attitude, and I lie down on the bed again. So that attitude in the mind and the intellect is heavily conditioned. We need to change it. So you see, Satoguna is S, Rajoguna is R, and T is the Tamoguna. That these three gunas are constantly active. You see, I keep the body steady, it has to do with the Tamoguna. So the Tamoguna is also helpful. Now you want to be a good speaker, we have to use the Tamoguna with reference to the body, Rajoguna with reference to the mind, Satoguna with reference to the intellect. You become a good speaker. It is not that, it is not only for spirituality, it can be applied anywhere. So basically, we are talking about the awakening. So SRT is the basic. Remember this: the Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna are constantly interacting. They are constantly active in our life. And go back, then go to attitude, and the attitude is expressed as a behavior, and a behavior is nothing but the action, the way we talk and think and speak and relate to others. Now, if the attitude contains the likes and dislikes, now go back to the impurities of the mind. You may try to hide anything, you cannot hide. It has to be expressed. How are you? I'm good. Because now I have a preference of disliking against you. So I'm good. Attitude is saying, why you are asking me? I hate you. You see, the attitude is expressed. And that is what we do to ourselves all the time. When you say, I am unhappy, I'm stressed, I have a disturbed sleep, it has to do with those three gunas which creates a false I. We have to contemplate and think. If you do not contemplate and think, you cannot change that attitude. To change that attitude, we have to think totally in a new way. We have to contemplate every day. So these three gunas, you say that if Satoguna is almost 90%, so other two gunas will follow Satoguna. If the Rajoguna is 90%, Tamoguna and the Satoguna will follow the Rajoguna. I'm excited. Rajoguna. Now in the excitement, you always have a likes and dislikes. That is the role of the Sato, Tamog, and Raju, three gunas. It defines our personality. The ideal state is Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. Now you see that it becomes Rajoguna is dominant, Satoguna is hiding, Tamoguna is also hiding. That is the cause of extreme level of fatigue and the tiredness. The mind is constantly agitated. It creates a strong likes and dislikes. And if the Tamoguna is at the top, you have a Tamoguna, then Rajoguna, and then the Satoguna. That is expressed in the attitude expressed in the action. I don't want to wake up, I am lazy, I oppose the knowledge, I don't feel like doing anything in the life. But I dream. Let someone put the food into my mouth. I will be a happy person. So it affects our daily life, and that is related to the I. You had a sound sleep, you wake up in the morning, you feel fresh. It is the sleep guided by the Satoguna. You feel disturbed even after 10 hours of the sleep. The sleep is guided by the Rajoguna. Something is happening deep inside. That is what we want to explore. You have a disturbed sleep and you want to sleep more. Even after 10 hours of the sleep, it has to do with the tamoguna. That I will take up in detail. Later, I'm just giving you an idea. So now it is, if the tamoguna and the rajoguna is highly active, where it is active inside. So attitude in the mind is already present, attitude in the intellect is always present. And that is going to be expressed as a behavior. It has a very strong link to this negative ego, or you can say I-ness, or the false I. It prevents us to move into the higher consciousness. When it prevents you to move into the higher consciousness, the mind starts the blame and complaint game and the reaction. And the domination of the tamo and the rajoguna creates a lifestyle that is, what is lifestyle? Attitude is expressive. Lifestyle is almost dictated by the fatigue, mental fatigue, anxiety, dreams, guided by the fear. This is what is happening. The moment you understand this and you take the right step, it changes. So ultimately, it all comes down to purity of the mind. So we simply say these are the impurities of the mind, and you can get rid of it by changing your attitude, understanding it, by regular practice and contemplation. Your mood is upset. You do not subjectify, you objectify. Object is always an object. So what it means, I objectify my mood. I become the mood. Why I become the mood? Because of the ego. Why there is a ego? Because of the three gunas. What happens with the three gunas? It expresses its attitude in the mind and attitude in the intellect. So what happens with an attitude? Attitude is expressed in thought, speech, and action. You see the entire sequence. So when we will talk about these three gunas, we will dig deep inside that. In the last session, we discussed about this, that I told you before also, my dad died in 89 and I rushed to my master. I started crying. He did not say anything. He said, go back, perform all the rituals that is required and come back. Did not show any emotion. I told you, love is an attitude in the mind. That was his love to me to teach. So I went back again. What will happen? So he said, did your dad is listening to you? That what will happen to you? He's no more. Are you worthy of suffering? No, I'm grieving. So where you are grieving? Give me 3 benefits of the grief. Why he said so? Later on he told me it is to settle that feeling and the emotion in the mind. Why to settle that feeling and emotion in the mind? What is not required has to be left out. Outside, at the professional level, at the social level, at the family level, we should follow our ritual. We should not oppose it. We should not be egoistic. No. What happened, if someone died? We should follow it. But mind has a proper attitude. The knowledge is given by the intellect that if the person is dead, he or she is not listening, even if I grieve, it will not help that person to become alive. Is it not a fact? It is a fact. It is the truth. We cannot deny the truth. We cannot say it is evidence-based truth. It is the fact. It is the fact. So what our masters are saying, that emotion in the mind should not go to the grief, because there is no reason to grieve. Thousands of people are dying in Ukraine, we don't grieve. But our near and the dear ones die, we have a grief. Normally, but why it is there? Do you find it? Because I am related to that person. I feel a sense. From where that relationship, idea of relationship comes, it comes from the mind. Mind has an emotion. Do you see that? I think I was in the 10th grade when my mother died. In those days, you don't have that emotional development. So I just saw my mom, that's gone. And she is there yesterday and she is gone. So I compared the two emotions. I was the same person. Then my older brother died. And there I could reach to that state of mental maturity. This is what the master is talking about, because that mental maturity and intellectual wisdom helps us to treat the path of the spirituality and awaken to the real self. If they do not come at the mental and the intellectual level, there cannot be any spirituality at all. Cannot be any spirituality. Remember again, the knowledge in the intellect should be passed on continuously. That is the role of the contemplation and reflection. Otherwise, the intellect will start working with preference to the likes and dislikes. You wake up in the morning, mind will supply those thoughts which you like. So the lifestyle, the way of life will not change. And if the way of the life does not change, there is no change in our. Then you may be listening to this weird guy for years and years and no change will take place. Knowledge in the intellect, mind will change its attitude only if I take action based on the knowledge. That will bring a change in my behavior and attitude. And the moment you resolve to change the attitude, it will bring the satoguna dominating the rajo and the tamoguna. What will happen? Someday you wake up at 3 a.m. Oh, it disturbs my sleep. No, you will say, this is an opportunity for me to meditate again. I'm giving you a practical. It's a point of awareness. So by listening and learning and you're contemplating and reflecting, so sometime you wake up at 3 a.m. and you say, oh, let me spend my time here. Normally what happens, my sleep is disturbed, what will I do? Now I have to do this. Average intellect can understand these principles, but only the seeker takes the action. Who cannot understand these principles? I gave you the cause and effect. Human intellect can easily understand the cause and effect relationship. It's not a big deal. Average intellect, even if you start teaching your kids, they will understand. But the seeker alone can change. What masters are saying, that knowledge must change my lifestyle. So it is not happening. You repeat it again and again. You listen and learn again and again. You don't listen to me, you are listening from those teachers. You listen to it again and again and again. Your intellect is now overwhelmed with this knowledge. And one day the intellect will push the mind to change. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen. What is knowledge in Eastern wisdom? Any knowledge that brings calmness, joy, and the self-awareness is what the Eastern wisdom is. My knowledge is that, you are crazy. Does it bring calmness and peace? Who is dominating Rajoguna? Look at the evidence. Look at the way. We may have some reaction against our near the dear ones. I instantly become aware of the Raju and the Tamoguna, drive it away. That keeps your mind all the time steady and calm. Eastern wisdom says knowledge means any knowledge. Knowledge, how the knowledge comes? By the thought. Today is a serious topic, but you need not to be serious. Keep a smile. Knowledge means that any thought that comes to my mind must lead me to the state of the calmness and self-awareness. If it does not lead me to the calmness and self-awareness, let me drop it. It may be a very important thought. Who makes the important thought? If I have an attitude of Rajoguna, if I have an attitude of Tamoguna, then what I think? Sleeping little 2 hours more is a way to live. Are you getting it? Think of this. We are going deeper. So knowledge in the Eastern wisdom, any thought, any feeling prevents your hurry, your worry, your reaction. It resets the thinking if it is associated with the emotion. You develop a fine personality in your life. See that? So this master, from where I'm using these verses and passing on the knowledge. So you see that there we say that it is because of the the master, the seeker realizes it is the grace of the God and the Guru. So God, you change it to the existence. What is that existence? Everything. My relations in the family, the professional life, the social life, the family life, all those 5 elements, the entire existence. So what happens in the intellect? My intellect starts perceiving this intellect, this existence is helping me, is supporting me. No, it is not supporting me. You are opposing to it, Tamoguna. Are you getting it? We are going a little deeper. You are always excited and you want a sense of hatred and jealousy, Rajoguna. You are bypassing the existence. So the master says it is the grace of that existence. Is always there. And what is the grace of the Guru? Guru means knowledge. So if you are not repeating those thoughts, these principles in your mind, you are not contemplating and reflecting. So what is already present in your mind and intellect, whatever the thoughts, feeling of likes and dislikes, will repeat itself. They will get a more chance. So that is understood as a grace of the God, existence, and the grace of the Guru. That is why we stress contemplation and I tell you that I have 70 audios in the Hindi audios of my master. So, and I have heard those audios, I think maybe 100 times, sometime maybe 200 times. And I see that there is a perfect alignment what the master is saying. I feel that level of awareness, what the master is saying, I check that point. Oh, it is there. And the moment I feel it is there, it reveals something deeper. Every time I get a new revelation. Tamoguna says, I have already listened to you. You seem to be a crazy guy. You're repeating the same thing again and again. I'm not crazy, your mind. Tamoguna. Recognize. You have subjectified it. Don't you become bored listening to the same thing again and again? But ask yourself, the one you love, don't you feel bored? How many times you have heard from your honey, I love you? Did you say to your honey, I become bored? Don't say this. Enough. I can give you many examples. Honey, it's enough is enough. I have counted that you have told me I love you 1,000 times. I know it. What is this? Intellectual paralysis. Understand it, my friend, understand it. That is why we are when we are a seeker, listening and learning, stop hearing. Then start contemplating and reflecting. The moment you are reflecting, you are creating your own thought process. That prevents any untoward emotion in the mind. And the more and more you do it, you develop an intense aspiration towards an awakening. Then what happens one day, you wake up in the morning at around 3. Mind says, oh, let me sit in meditation. Let me listen to it. Let me understand it. Do you know that inner attitude changes your perception of the life? But what happens, my friends, that this ignorance, you can say, the impurities which is causing the delusion, it is an old software that is already installed by the nature since our birth. So because we don't get the key to uninstall it, it keeps our life in delusion. It keeps our life in illusion. We understand for an hour, we enjoy for a couple of hours of freshness, calmness, and relaxation, and ultimately the mind returns to the same old software. What is that software? Attitude is the software, and expression is the hardware. So this is the process of uninstalling the old one and reinstalling the new one. Software is the mind. Mind has an attitude. So one more session about from this text. I'll briefly talk about, I'll summarize it in the next session, and then what is left, and still the delusion is left. So you have to bear with the master because I'm teaching from these teachers. So we have to hammer on our delusion. And that is painful. That hurts our ego. We have to hurt that ego which causes the delusion, which wants to live in the delusion. So that text, it says, title of the text, it says, hammer on the delusion. Whether it comes to matter of, no, I feel sleepy, I'm reacting, I have a strong likes and dislikes. This is my nature. I normally say, this is my nature, I cannot get out of it. That's why you are crazy. We have an ability to change. We have an ability to rise into a new level of awareness. That is what the human being is. If any attitude backed by the likes and dislikes, joy and the sorrow, pain and the pleasure, uh, the unconscious, habitual and instinctive and the impulsive nature, I cannot progress. Forget about spirituality. We cannot progress into our personal, professional and social life, into our relationship also. My mind will always be filled with the blame, complaint, reaction, and then the mind gets tired, and then, oh, let me sleep. And I'm doing the same thing again and again and again, expecting a different result, which is not possible. I have to change that pattern. Mind pushes me to do the same thing again and again and again. But somewhere in the intellect, I expect a different result that never comes to my life. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed. And so you see instant change. You're comfortable, my friends. And Sarvesham, we are not going into being comfortable and being carefree. I'm just repeating for the sake of your understanding. So we are already comfortable. A seeker is always comfortable. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. May there be happiness for all. May there be happiness for all. Yes. Can you ask your intellect what is happening in your intellect when you heard this? Does your intellect instantly reflect, no, happiness is our essential nature and it is present everywhere, it is all pervading, that is my nature. That is what we discussed today, my friends. If that knowledge is not installed there, if you don't have a feeling of that awareness, you practice meditation for years together, nothing is going to happen. Sarvesham, Sarvesham, Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham, Shantir Bhavatu. Did I not tell you that we have to reflect on this thought process? My thought process should change. That is what we are doing. Let there be, may there be peace for all. Peace is the essential nature of all the living species. But the mind with the feeling says, my dad is crazy. But intellect submits pressure by repetition of this thought with the feeling. And the feeling changes. What I have to do if my dad or mom or anyone is crazy? What I have to do? Let me change myself. So you have started uninstalling and reinstalling the program. It demands a thought followed by the feeling, followed by the practice. See another meaning of the mantra. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let there be completeness in all. Completeness, it sows the seed of that spirituality, of holiness. Mind and the intellect are not prepared, and you expect that I have an awakening. Unprepared mind and the intellect plus practice is equal to hallucinations, imaginations. And then we start equating our meditation with psychedelic drugs. Look at this. Such a wrong approach. Holiness, incompleteness is gone. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. I have already explained that sense of auspiciousness. You will feel the auspiciousness in the existence because of the Sato Guna. What is preventing? Rajo and the Tamo. My life is not good. I should have been born somewhere. All crazy thoughts comes to the mind. They stop. I have to introduce the new steps, and so being comfortable, being carefree in the mantra. Now the mantra is absorbed by the intellect very fast. Means what? I live at a higher level of awareness. Now look inside. Look inside the forehead. Become aware of the space inside the forehead. Pick a point in the space and drop Om Shanti. Very casually, gently, Om Shanti. And then start breathing quick and short breath through the rib cage. Continue quick, short, gentle breathing. You experience the expansion and the squeezing of the rib cage. Om Shanti continues at an interval. Body remains in the state of comfort and steadiness. You see, now the entire practice is dominated by the Sato Guna. You may have some thoughts of resistance. You can bypass that resistance easily. You can endure it. But if you cannot endure it, either the Raju and the Tamoguna are taking over you. So you are very clear about everything that you are doing. Continue quick and short breath into your rib cage. Om Shanti continues. You are aware of the stillness in the body. And stop this. Look at the flow of the breath. You understand what we are moving to. That will be our very subtle step in the journey. You are looking at the breath, you are aware of the breath, you are understanding which nostril has a rhythmic flow or the more air and which has a less. What should we do? We simply keep looking at that nostril which has a less flow. And if it is equal, it is okay. Live, just continue to remain aware of that flow of the breath. And if you find the unequal flow, you are paying attention to that nostril which has a less flow. You will recognize easily after paying attention for a few seconds. We will extend that period later. You will see it. The mind can change the flow of the breath. It's a very subtle process that we are going to learn in the future lessons. Looking inside the forehead again, Shanti continues, and now start the belly breathing. Conscious journey. You know what the teacher is teaching you. So you own the responsibility and you discover the attitude in the mind changes the rate and the rhythm of the breath. And that is where we have to act. What? We keep the belly breathing rhythmic. We return to that. Sometime we find feeling sleepy. So then we can really appreciate what we discussed today. If it doesn't happen, you can't recognize, tell me, let me know. It's a little longer breath, and the indication that you are doing it right. You inhale, the belly expands. You exhale, the belly squeezes. At this moment, your focus is there along with the Om Shanti. So there is an internalization of the mind also. Nothing that you are doing because of the blind belief. Pointing you, if you are feeling sleepy, it is the tamoguna is dominating. Pay attention to that. Belly breathing, my friends. Now the time has come to hammer on the delusion. We cannot have a luxury to be sleepy in the practice. I'm just giving you a taste of what is going to come. And stop this. Instant awareness. Now you pay because the breath is now normal. And then you are aware of the breath moving through each nostril. You check their quality, what the mind feels. mind may feel that your right nostril has a free flow and the left has some obstruction, or vice versa. So, which one has a less flow? You keep your awareness there. Just you're casually keeping your awareness there. You will discover that it is possible to change the breath because of intense awareness and attention of the mind. Once we perfect that, we can leave this quick and fast in other breathing practices. Now is the time Om Shanti continues inside the forehead. Now the third type, the breathing, belly and the rib cage both, long breath. Consciously you inhale into the belly, then into the rib cage. Consciously you exhale from the belly and the rib cage. I believe you understand it clearly. This third type of the breathing has a big challenge. Mind is not attuned to it. Why? Unwanted emotion causes the rib cage breathing. Intellectual paralysis disturbs this breathing. Think in terms of the Eastern wisdom. So it takes little time, but just pay attention. You inhale into the belly and the rib cage, long and the deep and the hissing breath, and you exhale first from the belly and the rib cage. And now stop this breathing. Pay attention to the breath, incoming and the outgoing breath to each nostril. It is the intellect which knows which nostril has a free flow and which has a little obstruction. Even the science has proved. I will talk about that later. And you already know that mind has to pay attention to that flow of the breath which has a less flow. Or you can also translate as which has an obstruction. In the background, you are already aware of the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So, sensation, relaxation, and stillness in the body is supporting the awareness of the breath. Because if the body is moving, there will be a change of the rate and the rhythm of the breath. We already know through the science. Maybe you feel both the flow of the breath. There is no both now, it is one flow. In a traditional kundalini meditation, we say you are awakening that sushumna channel, the middle channel. That it helps for the self-absorption of the mind. See, I have related the next step. Looking, visualize the triangle in the cave of your heart. Move the mind, dropping Om Shanti. Find the sink, because if you have an equal flow of the breath, the sink is very easy. Oh, that is how they are related, yes. So once you find that it is sinking, then singing Om, pushing the mind deep inside, the key of the heart passing through the center of the triangle, Shanti, and you are consciously absorbing. There is an awareness of absorption. Well, the self absorption breaks up, return again, sink again, and move the mind once again. Now, because there is a clarity completely, you are living at a higher level of awareness. When you feel there is no disturbances at all. So Rajoguna is working under the Satoguna. Understand that clearly, otherwise, people, in the name of the awakening and the spirituality, they do crazy stuff. It will not work. It has not never worked. And now, Japa Om Shanti on the 16 segments of four fingers. And what is the quality here? It is the mind's eye, it is the mind's skin, it is the mind's ear. That is doing. It means the senses are living in the mind and you can really experience that. How you experience their impact? You are dropping Om Shanti at the first segment, you may feel the sensation and vibration. Maybe you feel they dissolve. There are many types of experiences. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences, and if you have any questions, we'll talk about it. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, thank you. Good lesson as always. I one of the lines that you said that resonated the most with me is action is based on the knowledge, and that sits with me over and over again during my contemplation and reflection. Going into today's meditation, it was effortless. It was deep, extremely quiet, and it was probably the most difficult struggle coming out of it. I heard your first chanting, and I was like, oh wow, that was fast, and this is over. But I felt myself falling back into it again, and it wasn't until focus on the right hand that I was like, okay, gotta pull myself out of this quick.
Beautiful.
So, thank you.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful experience. How are you, David and Jerry? Yes, I can see you.
Good, thank you. Yeah, very. I enjoyed the lesson. I enjoyed the aspect of the reset of attitude, I guess I would describe it. And so for me, it was kind of a resetting lesson. And the meditation portion, therefore, was extremely deep. I can't recall, I don't think I had any kind of buzz of thoughts going on. It was very present and very deep.
Beautiful. That's really wonderful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. I also like the attitude. It reminds me always that we have a choice. So we always have experiences, and then our choice is what type of attitude that we're going to have with each experience. And we always go back to that, or we don't even have to go back to it if we just are living in that one attitude.
Yeah, beautiful. You see, if I summarize Stephen, David, and yours experience, action is based on the knowledge inside, and that knowledge again follows an attitude. What is the attitude in the mind, and what is the attitude in the intellect? So if we do not replace that attitude, the mind is going to be crazy all the time. So we may not think, but that those three gunas are working inside. And ultimately it will form an attitude. It will be expressed outside. Very good. How are you, Brandy?
I'm good, thanks. Again, I can see the interplay of the gunas this morning. When I first woke up, I didn't want to get up, right? And I applied it and got out of bed. And then I came directly to meditation today from a work meeting. So I had a lot of that Raja Guna that I, had to settle, had to have that shift. But during the lesson, you talked about grief, and for whatever reason, I'm gonna need some contemplation and reflection. I mean, it was helpful to hear the other reflections about just applying the action, but for whatever reason, that seems a little bit bigger to sort out than getting out of bed. So the application of it seems a little bit different. But thank you. The meditation was really good today.
Beautiful. The moment you recognize means that, I'm feeling sleepy, I don't want to get up. This is the tamoguna. Now, is sleep is different from you? Yes. So what happens that my tamoguna has subjectified the sleep. I own the responsibility that I am feeling sleepy. And what happens now? Once you learn this, you objectify. Oh, it is asleep. Let me pull myself. You get out of it. You're done. How much time it takes? That trigger in the intellect must be there of satoguna. And it can take place. Yeah, we are going to do it in a deeper way. How are you, Christina?
Thank you. I experienced today a sense of floating and pure observation. It felt like just really distanced from the crazy making in the mind.
Yeah. That's really good. Floating obviously is a deeper experience. It's a kind of total self-absorption where we are able to transcend the body. Beautiful. And observer is the key to this. How are you, Dennis?
I'm good, and the mind was very calm during the meditation. Could not tell the difference between the right and the left flow. I believe they were equal, and I enjoyed your analogy about uninstalling the old software, but also there's a question that comes with it. Aren't our past impressions an essential part of this old software, and can they even be uninstalled?
Yes, you're right. That's a beautiful question. You see that? How beautiful the question is. You are a computer expert. When you uninstall the previous Windows, what is left in the computer? So they will be left automatically. They cannot be erased. Those binary numbers so that you can reinstall the new software. So what is, you can say, what is the inherent nature which has not been acquired due to the past impression will continue to remain. Those binary numbers and the chips and the semiconductors, don't push me to explain, you already know it. So if you reinstall, there must be a basic. So that basic level still remains intact. If you say I uninstall the old software, it does not mean that you have uninstalled even the mind and the intellect. That was your question. I understood that. So, how are you, Terry?
I simply surrender to the practice, and I was able to do it despite extreme fatigue in the body.
Good.
So, yeah.
I'm happy about you that your commitment is so deep, unparalleled. So it means besides the physical challenges, the inner consciousness is still full of that peace and the calm. It's still inspires you to continue the journey.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. How are you, Ashok?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
I'm good and fine, peaceful and calm.
Very
Everything
good.
is. Thank you.
Peaceful and calm. Just to tell you, it's better not to say whether it is son or a daughter. I had a chat with my child yesterday for 2 hours, and one child out of the two recalled, Dad, you touched the feet of this master who performed a ritual meditation when I was only 10. So I interacted with more than 100 masters to learn all those things. So this master continued the meditation. It's a ritual meditation for 12 hours. He started at 6 in the morning and he started at 6 in the evening. So the question the child was asking that, why you did that? You always feel that you touch the feet, you surrender to them because I wanted to learn. So then his next question was that, children are young, so they have the same American mindset now. They are more American than me. I want to earn. I said the ground on which you want to earn more is the blessing of that master. Did you understand that?
Yeah.
Oh, even Ashok knows. We went to Bulandshahr to meet another master. I never left. Whenever I hear that, oh, this master is doing this thing, let me go back. Let me go to him. Learn what exactly he offers. But my motivation was clear. Only one motivation. I want to know myself, not I want to learn these powers and etc. etc. No, nothing more than that. And from where that intention comes from the Satoguna. And that keeps your ego in check. And that helps you to evolve. So I gave him 10 instances, him or her, I gave the child 10 instances, and he or she, they record of life. No, I was very reactive to you, that why you invite those people at our house, it disturbed. I said, no, it did not disturb me. Now you are reaping the fruits of that. It is that journey we are undertaking. Thank you, my friends. We will meet in the next lesson again. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.